Everybody hates these evidence pair questions, and we hate them especially when they're on the dense history passages. But look, this is really easy. We just need to know the strategy. So let me show you what to do here. First and foremost, focus on the question in part one. Make sure you know what you're looking for. And strong words matter here too. If there's something that sticks out, you got to focus on it. So Hamilton suggests that those who hold positions in the state governments might oppose the Constitution because. Okay. Well, there we go. We've got our marching orders. Now we skip down to part two, and we look through these lines, and we're looking for anything that starts to check off those boxes. It might not check off all the boxes as conveniently as we want, but it's going to hit some of those same ideas that we saw in the question. If it doesn't hit any, then it's not relevant. We can cross it out. So choice A is a good example of that. This is just saying that people are here to decide the Constitution. It's not saying that people are going to oppose it, or it's not really talking about who's going to oppose it. So this choice has nothing to do with anything. Same thing with choice B. It's a very long choice, but it's really just saying why we need to have this kind of discussion and to decide the important question. It's nothing about being opposed to it. So again, it's not checking off this very important box that I need from the question. Choice C, a wrong election of the part we shall act may in this view deserve to be considered as the general misfortune of mankind. That's just saying it'd be bad if we make the wrong choice. But again, it's not explaining what the wrong choice is, why people might make it. This is not diving deep enough. Now, D is hard to understand, but it has a very key word here. Among the most formidable of obstacles which the new Constitution will face, blah, 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 right? So for now, if all you notice is that word obstacle, you should know that this is a really good answer choice. This is a good line reference because it seems to explain and have to do with the original question. And now I go back to the answer choices in part one, and I start evaluating those based on what line reference D says. And two of them should fall away pretty quickly, C and D. Weaken the Union of States, that might have been true in your history class, but it's not true in these lines. They're not talking about the states, they're talking about men. They're talking about individuals. So, not about the states. And create a moral dilemma? No, there's nothing about morality in here, so it doesn't matter. Now, choices A and B are actually really close to each other. They seem very similar, right? Take away their inalienable rights, reduce the benefits they receive. It both seems negative and something is being taken away. And choice A is really tempting, kind of a little bit of a trap, because it uses a lot of that language that we would have heard in the Constitution and in history class, and so it feels more like right based on what our teacher would want us to say. But no, it's not based on what the SAT says. It's a much stronger choice, right? To take away their inalienable rights is a very strong phrase, whereas to simply reduce those rights or reduce the benefits is much weaker and much more provable in an SAT strategy way. So B is actually the answer here, and that matches with line reference D. And can we actually prove that B matches with D? Yes. It's going to take a little work, but it does say here that the class of men in every state are going to resist those changes which hazard a diminution of the power, emolument, and consequences of the offices they hold under the state establishment. So a lot of key words that match with our question. You might not know that word diminution, but I think from context you can get it. And it's certainly, just from strategy reasons, much, much better to pick B. So this is why we need to understand this strong word strategy for all the passages. Because even when we don't understand stuff, we can still sort through those choices and make some smart decisions when we're down to two that sound very similar. One will be stronger, one will be weaker. Go with the weaker choice. It's almost always right.